Hello, I'm AJ Schuler, the president of ACMP-DC. That's the Association of Change Management Professionals of Washington, D.C. And I have another little drive-by update for you on what positions we have open for nominations to the board for the coming board year. So we have 4 positions that are currently open for which we are accepting nominations. Now, the first thing to know is that if you enter your name in nomination, you are not committing yourself to run. All you're doing is expressing your interest, and we on the board will follow up with you to set up an interview to sort out with you whether or not it's going to be a good fit for you, to answer questions you may have about the position, the time commitment, and so forth. So all you're doing if you submit a nomination form is saying, I'm curious and I'm interested. Having said that, let me give you a little bit more of an overview of the positions you have available. First is the vice president position. Now, the vice president position is essentially the president in waiting for a coming year. So the term is a 2-year term, and in the first year, the vice president functions as the vice president of the chapter, working closely with the president and helping to lead and support the chapter activities throughout the board year. In the second year of the vice president's term, the position converts into the president of the chapter. So what that allows is kind of a continuity of leadership in the organization and a kind of an apprenticeship for vice president to president, so that we have a consistent strategic direction and sort of continuity of culture within the chapter for sustainability of our services. This is a great position for someone who is sort of experienced with our chapter and our community, maybe a past board member who now suddenly has time to engage back in the board and maybe wants to assist the organization as it goes from this stage of its maturity, because it's in a very different place now from where it was from many past board members have experienced, and now as we enter, I think, our 5th year. So this is a great position for that type of person, especially someone who has experience with other nonprofit member-based boards and associations. So that's the vice president position. That's the first one. The second position that we have open is a director of membership and volunteers. This is obviously we're a member-based organization, so this is a person who is responsible for all of the engagement with our members to help make sure that we're serving our members well, that we're understanding their needs, that we're listening to them, that they collaborate with our director of communications and communicating with our members. Obviously, there's a logistical piece of this that we have the processes in place for pulling out the membership databases that we get from the global organization and then getting them into our system. So there's some of that stuff which is just logistical, but there's also a strategic element where you help us ensure that we are serving our membership, and you are our eyes and ears within the board, most closely engaged with understanding the interests of our members. This person is also, because of that position close to our members, is the person who is supporting our director of volunteers, our volunteer coordinator, in identifying volunteer opportunities for members who want to dip their toe in the water more to engage with the chapter, and helping to match up member interest in volunteering with volunteer opportunities. So that's the director of membership position. The person who has been our incumbent director of membership will still be involved with the board in some capacity, so whoever takes over this position will have a nice soft landing and support to be able to execute the role. So there's that. It's also a 2-year term. Next, the director of programming, events, and training. So that sounds like a lot, but all of these systems and practices are basically built and ready to hand over to whoever takes over the position. So this is a person who's going to be, guiding us in strategy and the execution of our programs, our events, and the execution of our, we offer pro-site training regularly. We may be offering other trainings to our members in the future. So that person will not be doing all the event stuff themselves. I know I can imagine someone reading the title of the position and getting scared about that. This person is kind of a program manager. So we have other people, volunteers and other board members, who will be active in supporting all of these events and programs, and essentially each little program or event is a project And as operating as sort of the program manager, the director of events, programming and training, is making sure that each of these little projects are implemented and supported appropriately. And you'll be using, if you take this position, you'll be using templates and basically cookbooks that we've already developed about what events work well for our members that seem to have been popular with our members. So it's kind of it's something plug and play, but there's also lots of opportunity here for this person to guide us on new things that we might want to take on in a strategic role as part of the board. So as the board president, this is kind of a role that I have been hands-on performing simultaneous with my role as board president over the last year. So whoever takes on this position is someone I'll be working with closely and supporting to ensure they feel comfortable and they learn all the pieces of how to do this stuff so that they will be positioned for success. So whoever takes this role shouldn't be daunted by what seems like the scope of the role, because I'll be there. I'll be holding the bicycle seat. I will make sure everything works out for you. So there's that. The next position we have open is, and the fourth position is a newly created position for a director of sponsorships and business development. So this is an area where we're not terribly mature as a chapter. We've been great at events and really experienced in putting that together, and programming and member engagement. We've done a lot of things really well. We haven't done this part of a nonprofit organization's role as well. We do have some sustaining sponsors that we're very grateful to. I'll name them now, Booz Allen Hamilton and North Highland. But we also can do better to engage with the potential sponsor community on how they can achieve their goals through sponsoring our events and other models of sponsorship that we can develop and be created. So we're looking for someone who's kind of got that sort of a business development mindset, kind of creative, kind of strategic, good at relationship building, and who can listen to and engage potential sponsors and also other institutions that we would want to connect with as a chapter that we can do better aligning with, such as our institutions of higher learning here in the area, things that we might be able to do together for universities, maybe creating some little internship opportunities for people who are interested in change management, or mentoring opportunities or practicum opportunities with institutions of learning. All of these things are on the table for development and creation for someone who works with us in helping us think about how we engage institutionally with others whose missions and goals align with or overlap with ours, and be creative about putting those alliances and joint activities together. That's what we're looking for in the Director of Business Development and Sponsorship. So if you have the personality that it finds that kind of thing tasty, that's a great position for you, and we'd love to hear from you. So those are the four positions. Did I get to them all? Yes, I did. All four positions that we have open for our current board year. They are all 2-year terms. And if you have questions about that, please email us at ACMP-DC.org. We have a virtual event coming up. I record this now on my work at home Friday. You see me informally dressed. On the 26th, is it, of January? On the 31st, next Wednesday, we will be having an evening of an informational session to talk about these things with anyone who has questions about them. So get the ball rolling. If you're curious at all, you've got a great organization to become part of, where we've really got our act together kind of nicely now and are really hitting a stride, and we've got a great team and great dynamic among us. So if you're interested and curious with connecting with others, come and put yourself in nominations to get the conversation started. Thank you for joining me on my little drive-by while I go get ink that I need for my printer, and hope to see you soon.